Araftum, let it go. Like human being weak, خُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ ضَعِيفًا. You know, often like an example, kibr, you know you have bad thoughts. You have bad thoughts. Oh, I have all these bad thoughts. What can I do about? What you do about your bad thoughts is you fight them. You get the point? It just obviously it's a bit more difficult because they're inward. But if somebody is like speaking like to you, like chatting nonsense to you, spiel coming out of their mouths to you, you can like put something over their mouth, can't you? You can block your ears. You can walk out the room. There are so many ways you can fight it when it's coming from without. But the same type of intention, motivation is needed when it's coming from within. Because, Allah Ta'ala alam, most people in our day and age, like over 50%, I was going to say 90%, but I'll bring it down to 50. 50% of what's going on inside of your mind, heart, is not you. There are those unseen creatures that are, you get the point, provoking you, but in your experience of life, you translate it as a thought. I'm thinking this and I'm thinking that. No, you're not thinking this or you're thinking that. Somebody's chatting nonsense inside of your ear, the ear of the heart in and of itself. And you got to fight them. You get the point? Resist it. He said the worst thing you can have is what's called istirsal. Istirsal, like that's what we normally do. You have a thought and then and then you start following it to where it leads to. And then you start thinking something and then after you say, man, where did this one come from? How did I even think that? Then you could start tracing it all back, where it all started. Inside, look, the thinker, you like that one, isn't it? That one. How can you trace it all back? But the issue is, let tastarsal. You have a thought that is evil, negative, don't allow it to play itself out. You got to block it. Like really, really block it. Think of something else. That's what you should have. You should have an array of things that if you think of them, while you become preoccupied with them. So when you have a bad thought, bring one of them to mind. You get it? Bring it to mind. Like Masha Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, rahimahullah ta'ala. Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah in his chapter in his Tibb al-Nabawi. Give an example, which is pertinent for Ramadan. Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, he has a chapter in his Tibb al-Nabawi, in his medicine of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from his Zad al-Ma'ad. So Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, he's treating what's called ishq. So ishq is infatuation. Somebody's like crazy in love, infatuation. So he's treating it especially inside of men, Ibn Qayyim, rahimahullah ta'ala. And people are fascinated with women. So Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, you have all these thoughts. Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, he starts saying, imagine the woman in her old age. He said, imagine the woman in the bathroom. On the toilet, he said, imagine her in situations that let us start. Oh no, hakada. He says, so when you got all these types of thoughts, they will block these amorous thoughts, these lustful thoughts. They'll block them. You got to have other thoughts that supplant them. That's just the beginning of the training of the mind, and getting control of the mind. It's the most important thing to get hold of. The mind in and of itself, because that is the most dangerous thing that obstructs the heart, and that's the question of kibr. Arrogance. When you have that thought, the feeling in the heart of kibr, now you got to block that. You can't go with it. You start going with it, khalas, it will manifest in a deed. Rahmatullah, the mercy of Allah Ta'ala dictates that the majority of people or beings that we're arrogant with, we don't confront them in life. Araft? Majority, Araft? You know quite well if you met an Eskimo, you'd believe you were better than Eskimo, right? So Allah Ta'ala put the Eskimo hunak. So you have to deal with Eskimos, especially in the tundra and the Eskimo environment. And the majority of people who we're arrogant against, Allah Ta'ala keeps them away from us, subhanahu wa ta'ala. What about would it be if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought them all into our environment? Some people who live in London, the cosmopolitan city, or where you meet everybody and anybody. How's your heart with such people? Mushkila. Problematic. Okay? So the key is trying to keep it inside of the heart. Not engaging such people helps. But when you engage them, now you need a bit of sort of fortitude and strength in order to sort of negate it. And so long as you negate it, then khalas, you're sorted. Even if you have it in your heart. That's one of the most beautiful statements of Abu Hamid al-Ghazali, and one of the rewards of death, of dying in faith. Abu Hamid al-Ghazali, he said, if you have arrogance in your heart, but you fail to act in accordance with it, you don't act in accordance with the arrogance, the process of dying will crush it inside of the heart. So that as soon as you appear in the barzakh, it's gone from the heart. Gone, completely gone. None of it. That's what Abu Hamid al-Ghazali rahimahullah ta'ala says. Yeah, death is a painful experience. And in the maut, la sakarat, as the Prophet ﷺ said, there is an intoxication, a painful reality to death, he said ﷺ. But there's benefits with that painful experience. In that it crushes diseases inside of the heart that we failed, alhamdulillah. Sometimes it's good to be a failure, that we failed to act in accordance with. Any questions, inshallah ta'ala?
Just on the back of that movie, I can see, you know, like, I'm presuming that so before you backbite, if you think of something to backbite and you keep quiet.
I like your before you backbite, huh?
Will Allah take us to account for what we thought, but we never...
No, also of it, no. The greatness of great people is they take themselves to account for it. The Sahaba were taken to account for it, but Allah Ta'ala lifted it from them. And us, alhamdulillah, us lesser beings, Allah Ta'ala doesn't take us to account for that which we think. But we mentioned that some people do say in Mecca al-Mukarramah, of the fuqaha say that the ruling remained in Mecca. So that's why you have to be careful of the great city of Mecca al-Mukarramah. That you go into Mecca al-Mukarramah, of the fuqaha believe that what your thoughts are still taken into account by Allah Ta'ala. Your thoughts are still being recorded. But note, not that you're not taken, not being taken into account is one thing, but not being recorded is another thing. Yani. Your thoughts are still recorded. Yani. Angels still write. The good thoughts, they're still writing. Bad thoughts are still writing. The issue is you're not going to be held accountable for them with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Although the Sahaba, that's one of the reasons why they became so great. And Sayyidina Ali bin Abi Talib, look at Sayyidina Ali bin Abi Talib. You can maybe interpret two contradictory traditions by Sayyidina Ali bin Abi Talib, upon tarbiyah, which is the topic of the dars. Sayyidina Ali bin Abi Talib, he said there are thoughts that we had, were they to manifest upon our tongues, we'd be considered disbelievers. Like the thoughts that we had, were they to manifest, we'd be considered kuffar. Everyone has those thoughts of kufr, fleeting, because that's what demons do. They just insinuate kufr inside of your heart, demons. Okay, then Sayyidina Ali, that's the first statement. Second statement, Sayyidina Ali bin Abi Talib, I got to a point where I thought whatever I wanted to think. I had complete control over my thought, over my mind. Ali bin Abi Talib said about himself, complete control. That's a training. It's wondrous, but it's a training that's also achievable, where you can think what you want to think. You can block out whatever you want to block out. To the point that ulama, our teachers say, not even that you're uprooting it. You can see the demon from Hunak. You can see the demon from over there, opening his mouth. You shoot him down before anything even comes out of his mouth. It doesn't even come near you. People can get to that type of training. But how, the secret of it, you have to, one, understand the nature of thoughts, and then two, you got to begin to deal effectively with thoughts. Okay, you can't be passive in the face of thought. You got to deal effectively with them. As look at Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Umar ibn al-Khattab, he would stand the entire night in prayer, reciting Lillahi ma fi samawati wa ma fi al-ard. When tubdu ma fi anfusikum aw tukhfuhu yuhasibukum bihi Allah. To Allah belongs whatever is in the heavens and the earth. If you manifest whatever is inside of you, or you keep it hidden, yuhasibukum bihi Allah. Allah will still take you to account for it. And that frightening verse, entire night crying in that one verse, in Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu warda. Okay, yes, it's being lifted from us, but we shouldn't be, alhamdulillah, it's lifted. So, because that's how mustarsilin, that we allow all these thoughts to roam wildly and idly inside of our minds. Be careful, inshallah.